I want to make a video response to the video realizing hell doesn't exist. And it basically talks about a believer in Jesus in the Bible who are going through doubts whether or not hell exists and having the fear of leaving the religion of Christianity. And he basically explains that by a rabbi speaking to him that there is no mention or implication of hell, and the concept of hell and heaven are different from Christianity to Judaism, and that there is no mention at all of any type of concept of any type of torture, any type of thing like that of that sort. There's no concept of a type of heaven when we die. So I thought I would make a video response to this video or that video. I'm gonna read passages from different places in the Old Testament. I want to start from Isaiah chapter 66, and it says in Isaiah chapter 66, starting at verse 22, it says, "For as the new heavens and the new earth, which I will make, shall remain before me, saith the Lord, so shall your seed and your name remain. And it shall come to pass that from one new moon to another, and from one Sabbath to another, so shall all flesh come to worship before me, saith the Lord. And they shall go forth and look upon the carcasses of the men that have transgressed against me. For their worm shall not die, neither shall their fire be quenched, and they shall be an abhorring unto all flesh." Now, it says, "For their worm shall not die, neither shall their fire be quenched," or their fire shall not be extinguished, and their worm shall not die. Now, a worm dies after a period of time, but basically God is saying that the fire and worm will not die in the Old Testament, and this is implying that this is eternal, this is perpetual, this will go on and on. And it says in verse 22, it says, "For as the new heavens and the new earth which I will make shall remain before me, saith the Lord, so shall your seed and your name remain." Did you see that? Okay, your name and your seed will remain. "And it shall come to pass that from one new moon to another, and from one Sabbath to another, shall all flesh come and worship before me, saith the Lord. And they shall go forth and look upon the carcasses of the men that have transgressed against me. For their worm shall not die, neither shall their fire be quenched, and they shall be an abhorring unto all flesh." Now, Jesus says in the New Testament that their fire shall not be quenched, neither shall their worm die. The worm dies not, and the fire is not quenched. They shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth. I can go to another place. I'm going to go to Daniel chapter 12. It says, "And at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince, which standeth for the children of thy people. And there shall be a time of trouble, such as never since there was a nation, even to that same time. In that time thy people shall be delivered, every one that shall be found written in the book of life." Verse 2, it says, Many of them that sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake, some to everlasting life, and some to shame and everlasting contempt. And they that be wise shall shine as the brightness of the firmament, and they that turn to righteousness as the stars forever and ever." Now, it's a contrast. It says that they that be wise shall shine as the firmament forever and ever. It shall be as the brightness of the stars forever and ever. And it says the contrast is the everlasting contempt. Now that can be implied of eternal torture, eternal separation from God, but it's basically saying that there is something beyond this life. And if you go to Daniel chapter 7, it basically says this in Daniel chapter 7, verses 9. From 9 to 14 it says, "And I beheld till the thrones were cast down, and the Ancient of Days did sit, whose garment was white as snow, and the hair of his head were like the pure wool. His throne was like the fiery flame, and his wheels as the burning flame." So let me continue. Verse 10. "A fiery stream came forth from before him. 10,000 ministered unto him, and 10,000 times 10,000 stood before him. And the judgment was set, and the books were opened." What judgment? "I beheld, then because of the voice of the great words which the horn spake, and I beheld even till the beast was slain, and his body destroyed, even given to the burning flame. And as concerning the rest of the beasts, they had their dominion taken away, yet their lives were put along for a season and a time. And I saw in the night visions, behold, one like the Son of Man came with the clouds of heaven, and came to the Ancient of Days, and they brought him near before him. And there was given him dominion and glory and a kingdom, and all nations, all people, nations, and languages should serve him. And his dominion is an everlasting dominion, which shall not pass away, and his kingdom that which shall not be destroyed." It says the books were open, or the judgment was said, and the books were open. Now that's implying that there is a heaven, and that there is a judgment day, because it says that 1,000 ministered before him, 10,000 times 10,000 stood before him, and the judgment was set. That there is a judgment day, and it basically says that the beast was slain, and his body was destroyed and given to the burning flame. The burning flame, which could be implying of hell or some type of torment. It's basically saying that there is a life after this life, and that God lives in another realm, and that people or angels and spirits minister unto God. And here it says that there is a judgment day. So basically, hell is talked about in the Old Testament. Heaven is talked about in the Old Testament. It talks about how Isaiah was in the temple, or how he saw the glory of God. He saw seraphim, cherubims, and they all declared the glory of God. They said that he was holy, 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 and the whole earth is full of his glory.